Right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Thai Talk with Dan. Now, we've got another part to this guy's epically long story where he's literally shared his whole life about him marrying the wrong type of Thai woman, having two children with her, and being scammed to death by her. This next part of the story is going to blow your socks off. It's absolutely insane. And I also see a lot of expats here in Thailand who are stuck in a major rut because they have invested everything that they have into their wife, into property, into land that's all in the wife's name. Now, strap yourselves in and let's go for a wild ride in the next part of this guy's super crazy, ridiculous Thailand story. Now, during the next few weeks, me and Nong did a lot of window shopping for the furniture and electronic goods we wanted for the new house. The evening before the sale was to complete, we went to the house and sat on the porch looking out over the lake, chatting and drinking with the sellers. It was idyllic. And I was happy tomorrow the house and land would be ours. So the next day was the day all my dreams fell apart. We woke up in our hotel in Chiang Mai, me expecting that day to take possession of our new house where I'd soon be living with my family, and instead Nong told me most of our money was gone and we would not be able to complete the house purchase. She cried hysterically. We even lost £18,000 on the deposit for the house. What the fuck? Now, who is stupid enough to put down a 20% deposit on a house they cannot possibly complete on? I knew that everything was a lie and that Nong's businesses had been losing money hand over fist. She kept up the pretense until the last possible moment, and I felt my life was destroyed. Now that day, I took an irate call from the house seller. He had another house lined up to buy, but now he didn't have the money to proceed. I wasn't too sympathetic, given he had the consolation of £18,000 of my money. I explained what had happened and told him I was going that day to Nong's village to pick up my children and take them back to England. So once he understood my situation, he calmed down. He told me to be careful and to register my presence with the Thai police as soon as I got to the village, in case Nong and her family planned to do me in. So that evening, I drove the Hilux back to Pray. I drove along the twisty mountain roads like a man with a death wish, sliding into every bend despite the precipitous drops. It was only the thought of what would become of my children without me that stopped me from driving straight over the edge. Nong was terrified and begging me to slow down the entire journey, but I didn't care. Now, I did go first to the police station. The police seemed bemused at my reason for being there. I felt a little foolish and didn't really believe Nong's family would do me in. But in my emotional state, I wasn't thinking clearly. Now, back at Noi's house, Nong explained what had happened to Noi and Tid. I told them I was taking the children back to the UK. Tid said, "Why? Nong loves you." But love wouldn't pay the bills. There was no point remaining in Thailand until our money inevitably dropped to zero. So the next day, I went with Nong to our bank in Prey City. Of the £150,000 I had sent to Nong 7 months earlier, only £30,000 remained. The 7 million baht was down to less than 1.5 million. The bank staff had known a month earlier I was transferring all the money to Nong's account to purchase a 4.8 million baht house. They must have known at the time that Nong still wouldn't have enough money to complete the purchase, yet they had said nothing and let me transfer the money anyway. We still had a few days to find the money to complete the house purchase. We'd paid £18,000 already of the £90,000 and we still had £30,000 left. The bank offered us a £40,000 mortgage, maybe anticipating getting the house cheap when we failed to keep up the payments. So I declined, as I doubted Nong would be able to keep up the monthly payments, and I thought we'd end up losing what little money remained, so the house was gone. Now, Nong said she'd be able to get all the money back again. I wanted to believe her, but it was never possible to get a straight answer from her as to where all the money had gone. Only a month earlier, I had transferred 3.4 million baht to her, and this was already down to 1.4 million. 800,000 baht went on the house deposit. The rest, I suppose, had been used to pay off debts that Nong had incurred. Clearly, I had trusted our future to somebody who was financially illiterate. I never imagined anybody could risk the future of their children in the way that Nong had. I thought we would live cheaply in Thailand, and even if things didn't work out, the money would last at least 10 years, not a mere 7 months. But Nong was so persuasive in telling me that she could get the money back again that I agreed to give her a chance and stay in Thailand for the time being. However, I wasn't prepared to let the children stay in the village with Noi anymore, so I took them with me to Chiang Mai. Now, feeling guilty about what she'd done to us, Nong transferred the 1.4 million baht back to my bank account. We stayed in a cheap hotel. Now that the children no longer attended school, I was concerned about their education. So in the daytime, we would sit around a swimming pool and I would teach them using classes that I found online. Sometimes Nong was with us, but mostly she was away on business. Now, my hobby in the UK had been Tai Chi Chuan, which I had practiced almost every day for the previous 17 years. The only good thing that happened to me during this time in Thailand was that I met an American expat living in the suburbs of Chiang Mai who was an expert at Chen style Tai Chi. He made frequent visits to China to learn from a master. His name was Ellis, and I liked his Tai Chi so much that I immediately wanted to learn from him and forget everything I'd learned in the past. I would go to his house almost every morning, where he would kindly teach me for free. Now, when Nong was away, she kept in touch by telephone until she didn't. Around the end of January, she broke off all contact. After a fortnight of telephone silence, not knowing if Nong was dead or alive, I knew that the dream was over and that I needed to return with the children to the UK. I found out it's a lot easier to transfer money from a UK bank account to a Thai bank account than the other way around. My Thai bank refused to transfer the 1.4 million baht back to my UK bank account, even though I had proof that the money came from the UK in the first place. I had to withdraw all the money in cash, change it to UK pounds, and carry it through customs. £30,000 was over the limit to take out of Thailand or into the UK without declaring it, which, to avoid too many questions, I didn't want to do. I carried all the money in my jacket pockets, where it fortunately went undiscovered. Now, I no longer had a home in the UK to go back to. 1 year ago, the sensible thing to do would have been to rent out the house for a year while seeing if Nong could really support our family in Thailand. But that was easy to say in hindsight. It was lucky we had my mother to fall back on. She lived with my stepfather in a 2-bedroom bungalow close to where my old house had been. The children were able to rejoin their old primary school almost exactly a year after having left it. Now, when I checked my UK bank account, the £6,000 I'd left in there was gone. Nong had withdrawn all the money to keep up the facade for as long as possible. Nong contacted us again, and not long after, we were back in the UK. No explanation as to why she had left us high and dry in Chiang Mai. She still insisted she would be able to get all of the money back. Only now it would take about a year to do so. After this time, me and the children could rejoin her in Thailand. Now, I called Nong every week. She always answered immediately in April. She told me she now had a job on an oil ship and was making lots of money by illegally selling oil. It sounded a bit unlikely because Nong had no qualifications to get such a job, and measures wouldn't be in place to stop oil being illegally siphoned off. But what did I know about how oil ships operated in Southeast Asia? Now, meanwhile, I was extremely depressed to be back in the UK. I'd gone from having a good job, a great house, and a beautiful young wife to being an unemployed single parent sharing a double bed with my 2 children. I had no hope of getting back on the housing ladder, and I didn't want to look for another job because I preferred to look after the children, who were 8 and almost 6 when I arrived back in the UK. I'd often considered in the past becoming a private hired driver and looked into applying for a license. But I found out that owing to the 9 months I'd spent in Thailand, I needed a certificate of good conduct from the Thai police. Now this I did not have, and I thought trying to obtain it whilst in the UK would be difficult. I also still believe Nong when she said she would turn things around. During that terrible year of 2011, at least I was able to spend so much time with the children. I'd walk them to and from school every day. Almost every non-school day on a weekend or in school holidays, I'd take them to do some activity. I was able to use my stepfather's car almost all the time, and I didn't pay rent or bills, so my £30,000 went down slowly. Now, in August, Nong came for 3 weeks to visit us in the UK. Despite all the money she was supposed to be making, I paid for the return flight. It was good to see her again, but we all missed her terribly. Did she miss us the same? Hard to say. So towards the end of 2011, Nong said she had almost all the money she needed to buy a new house and told me to start looking online for houses in Chiang Mai that I would like to buy. So convinced was I that she was going to make good on her promise to buy a house for us and support us in Thailand. I even sent her £5,000 to go towards the new house.
What a plonker.
Now, my stepfather had been in the advanced stages of cancer throughout 2011. He eventually succumbed in December. I was sorry because he was a nice guy who had helped my mother, me, and my brother a lot. He had married my mother in 1980 after my parents split up. At 15 years old, I had resented him being around and treated him badly at first, but he'd never done anything to deserve that. Now, on New Year's Eve 2012, I called Nong to wish her a happy new year. I could hear fireworks going off and people partying in the background. Nong said she was in a harbour and that the next day her oil ship would be leaving port on a longer journey than usual. I wouldn't be able to call her again for 2 weeks. Nong also said that we'd be able to join her in Thailand soon. When the 2 weeks were up, I tried calling, but no answer. By the time 2 weeks had become 4 weeks, I was worried that something happened to her. She had always been available by phone for the past year. I tried emailing Nong too, but I got no reply. I was already looking forward to joining Nong in Thailand, and the thought of having to stay indefinitely as a single parent in the UK was unbearable. So I tried calling Nong's sister, Noi, but the language barrier made it difficult to understand each other. So I went to the UK police and explained the situation to them to see if they could help. I gave them Noi's telephone number and they arranged to call Noi using a Thai translator. The police reported back that Noi had no idea of Nong's whereabouts. It was only after the police failed to get any information on Nong that I remembered I knew the password to Nong's email address. I had never thought to log into Nong's emails before because I trusted her absolutely. Now, in my desperation, I did log in. What I found shocked me. Firstly, the unanswered emails I had recently sent had been read. Secondly, I found out that as soon as I had left Thailand almost a year ago, Nong had started messaging lots of men on Thai Friendly, asking to meet them. I was distraught. Although I now knew Nong could not be trusted with money, I'd always believed she loved me and would never be unfaithful to me.
Are you crazy? Or just plain stupid?
So I sent an angry email saying I knew she had been reading my emails and asking why she had been contacting other men. In response, Nong telephoned me. She said she'd now bought a house in Thailand and was earning enough money to support us and that we should fly to join her in Thailand as soon as possible. My joy was tempered by the knowledge she had been contacting other men. My trust in her was gone, and before we left for Thailand, I researched how to install spyware on her iPhone. So I booked a one-way flight with Air India to Thailand at half-term in February 2012. I was no longer leaving the UK with the optimism I had felt 2 years ago. Our flight left in the evening from Heathrow and I booked a hotel for the night before. My plan was to leave our luggage in the hotel and spend a day in London with the children before returning in the evening to catch the flight. It was cold that day with snow on the ground and May was too ill to walk around any museums, so we had to spend the day in our hotel room. The hotel kindly let us stay the extra few hours for free when I explained my daughter was ill. Now, our Air India journey entailed changing flights in Delhi. When our belongings were scanned before boarding the second flight, something suspicious was found and the three of us were led away under armed escort to a private room. Now, unbeknownst to me, Luke had a bullet necklace in the pocket of his jacket. It was something that he'd bought when he'd visited an army museum the previous summer. Despite the fact it was clearly nothing but a harmless trinket, I was questioned about it for a quarter of an hour before being released to board our flight. My only concern during the ordeal was we'd miss our connection. So, we finally arrived at Chiang Mai Airport in the evening. Nong was waiting for us at the airport and took us in a taxi to our new house. It wasn't actually too bad. It was a 3-bedroom detached house in a gated community a few kilometers outside of Chiang Mai. It wasn't what I would have chosen because I still had this dream of self-sufficiency, and the garden was too small to grow a significant amount of food. Nevertheless, compared to sharing a bed in a spare room in my mother's house, it was paradise. Now, we didn't have a car, but we did have the motorbike we'd had before in Prey, and we used this to get around. Our children were quickly registered at a bilingual school, Sarasas Witiad. It was really quite a nice school, a big step up from the village school in Prey. It wasn't free, but not too expensive either compared to a private school in the UK. Of course, despite the fact Nong had said she would be supporting the family, she was short of money after the house purchase. So it was me that had to pay the school fees, a significant percentage of the £20,000 that was all I had to my name, and it was gone almost immediately. Now, Nong was quite happy to let me use her phone and laptop to my heart's content. The laptop was one I hadn't seen before. Nong said it was a gift from one of her fellow oil ship crew members. Doubtless, she thought she had removed anything incriminating already from both devices. I soon had spyware on Nong's iPhone using the instructions I'd researched back in the UK. Uncovering what Nong had been up to had become a rather unhealthy obsession. Now, Nong said she'd wanted to meet other men only to get money out of them for our family. She still maintained she had the job on the oil ship and said she would have to leave us from time to time when she had to set sail. On her laptop, there were minutes from safety meetings on a Chevron oil ship. The minutes listed all present, Nong's name always included. Could her story about the oil ship actually be true? Now, after only a few days in Thailand, I was sitting one evening on the sofa searching the laptop for any pictures that I might find. Nong was sat next to me and could see what I was doing. She asked in a slightly concerned voice, "You can't see anything that's been deleted, can you?" Despite her not having my IT know-how, I was sure she knew enough about computers not to leave anything in the recycle bin she did not want me to see. But her questions got me thinking. I knew the police were able to search hard drives for deleted information not yet overwritten. Maybe I could too. Within 10 minutes, I had downloaded and installed software that allowed pictures to be restored from a hard drive if they were not already overwritten. Now, the restored pictures started off innocent enough. Lots of pictures of a Muslim Southeast Asian guy with his family. Nong said this was the crew member from her ship who had given her the laptop. The first photos I found containing Nong were from New Year's Eve, when I'd spoken to her on the telephone from the UK. Now, rather than her being at a port ready to set sail the next day, she had actually been in Chiang Mai partying with various Thai friends. I recognised Nok and Banana, two friends Nong had since I'd first known her. Then come some photos of her in a rather nice looking hotel bed, taken using the self-timer on the camera. Naturally, on the 5th of January, a man started appearing in the pictures, a fat and ugly middle-aged Southeast Asian guy. Soon, there were pictures of Nong and this new guy holding hands as they visit various Chiang Mai tourist attractions. A few pictures of them cozying up together in restaurants too. Nong warns me to stop looking now because I'll get hurt. Guess what? I'm already effing hurt. Now let's fast forward to pictures from the 9th of January. Now Nong had her new partner at a Thai wedding at Noise House in Pray, and they are the ones getting married. Nong looked perfectly radiant in her traditional Thai wedding costume. There were pictures of strings being tied around their wrists and pictures of the party, followed by lots of pictures of the bridal suite, which was the extension I'd lived in with Nong for 6 months in 2010. The only person at the event who came out smelling of roses for me, however, was Noi's husband. Tid, he was wearing a pretty stern expression for the whole afternoon. As for Noi, she must have had a bad case of amnesia when she had told the British police later in January that she did not know Nong's whereabouts. Nong's explanation was that her new husband was her ship's engineer who had accidentally killed a fellow crew member. In order for the Thai authorities to go easy on him, it was necessary for him to marry a Thai national. This must be one of the least convincing cover stories ever told. I felt devastated, but what could I do? My life was now very much in Nong's hands, and I had nothing to go back to in the UK. Nong assured me she would be having nothing more to do with the other men. I wanted desperately to believe that we could all have a happy family life together in Thailand, with Nong supporting us all.
Good luck.
Guys, what a show. It is mental what guys get up to here in Thailand with these Thai women. And they don't just have to be bar girls or freelancers. It can be a woman from a poor village, an uneducated woman, a woman that's really, really struggling over here will rinse you alive. It is what it is. Now I'm going to make a very, very honest statement. With my 9+ years of living here in Thailand, I have met countless expats that are in very, 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 very bad relationships with their Thai wives. But because they've invested everything into their life here, i.e. a property, land, or even a business, and it's predominantly in the Thai wife's name, they are, done for. If they go back home, they go back home to nothing. So a lot of these guys that I've met stay within their relationships so they don't end up homeless without a pot to pee in. And they are afraid to go back home. So a lot of guys just end up stuck in a rut with a woman that they absolutely hate, go to the bars every day, play around with the bar girls because they're not getting anything from the wives anymore. And it's a very, very depressing existence for a lot of guys that have made the wrong choices and jumped into the deep end very, very fast with these women. You have to take a hell of a long time, several years to really get to know about the woman that you're with. And if she's not making her own decent money, then believe me, you're going to get problems unless you're pretty well off and you're very wealthy and you can take care of these women and you don't mind being in a financial relationship for a pretty lady, because it is going to cost you an absolute fortune. Now, this guy could have protected himself a lot more by not trusting her with the money. The moment he sent that money into her bank account, she knew she could do what she wanted with it. But yeah, she had kids with him. So there was a little bit of middle ground. And the only thing that I'm worried about with this story is what's going to happen with the children at the end of it, because it's almost coming to a close. It's a lot longer than I thought it was. And I'm just hoping that the kids somehow remain in both parents' lives and he's not stuck with the kids on his own and she's gone off with a new life with a new guy or whatever, or she's took the kids and he's stuck back in England trying to make a living and building his life again. It's not nice, and Thailand really can ruin guys that are too soft, that are too naive and too trustworthy with a woman that they don't really know, a culture that they don't really know. Guys, you have to be careful over here. There are good women, but you've got to be switched on in order to find them. Let us know what you guys think about this guy's endeavors, his story, how you think the ending is going to play out. Let us know down in the comments. Apart from that, guys, stay safe. It ain't worth it to get with a woman that's going to literally fleece you dry. And when you finally realize it's not about love, even though they've had kids with you, etc., it's a tough pill to swallow. And it's not nice, but it is what it is over here. This is Thailand. TIT. Learn it. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.